slight angle, and that's been a bit of a trick. So here's the moment of truth. We're going to just see how it sits when it goes back on. It might not mean much to you watching, but it means quite a lot how we tried to prepare this particular next step of the journey. We've had to lower things down again because we need to check the level before we drill through, because we've got a long way to drill down, and we just want to make sure that we're leveled up right before we start drilling, because it's quite precise. Yeah, here we go. We've drilled through the deck. Now we drill through the deck a little bit deeper just to make sure we line up with the old slot. Oh. All about tight spaces. Loz has been here, and now Rowan, who's a bit bigger than me, he's coming out, and we were talking about this whole business of feet first when you come out your mum. This is coming out the other way. You've been born again. Come on. What we go through for you, Chris? Have you any idea? Give a smile. Good job. Newly painted collar is going back on. We will stay there now. We'll try and work this. There you go, collar in, and the spindles in. Loosening, tightening, and moving. We are getting closer, but we have still got a little bit of movement to go, and we think it's going to happen down this. Rosie's job on this, she's actually pulled this out of the bulkhead, and this is where the cables go through, and we have to seal it with these blocks. So this has had to take apart, and what a job. Well done, Rose. Here's Scott's going down there, and he's got a 24-foot plank to put in, and it's going right down the side here. Look at these guys working in all the rain. Beam, side beam. So no segments, just one big beam. You my people little needles rise. Hammer, hammer. It's banging out. Picking all the tools up when I finish. Hammer, hammer, so that wood. Nearly in. Look at that lot. Paddling down, getting that plank in for the boat. That's an amazing piece of work. Drilling through the wood, handing up to Rosie so we didn't get tools wet. And finishing the job off. Interesting. I've taken these plates off, and in doing that I got a leak. I think it's probably the amount of water coming down from the top, but this is starting to leak, so it's interesting. It's probably a flow of water from the deck rather than the tank being full because we've emptied it. Or have we? I don't know. We've got that plate off, we have got that plate off, we've got that pipe off, we've got that pipe off, we've got these to drop off, and now we're down at this. Have you seen the state of this? Right, we've got to get the corrosion off, degrease it, and then we've got another few pipes under there to do, and that's a tank ready to shift. It's taking an all-day job, I tell you. Right, it came off, but it completely broke. That just shows you what corrosion does over time. Put a Stilson on it, it went pop. First mail in, company's house, just for Sail Train Limited. You can lift the top of the tank spot. What's that? Gotta go in, Bob. Okay. Wow, we're getting there. Oh, that was a job. Oh my goodness. Thanks very much. taking off the side panels, looking at these, they don't look as bad as they did up there. They don't look too bad.
Where you actually measure this from, because the deck heights are all different every single
And the plank's
plank.
different and it's slightly thicker as well.
Yeah.
But here we are, we're just lining all this up and we're finding we're just a few millimetres out in the centre, but we're almost a centimetre out down the bottom, so we have to make a lot more adjustments. This is a really nice day today. We got the best day of the year so far. Hopefully now we have managed to get it all level, and she's right on every angle. So what we're doing is we flush this out and we prepare this with basically treat it with some bitumen, lightly seal it, and then start putting everything back together as you go. We're going to seal that lot as well.
Is shove this down a bit here, so when that slides down a bit, then we can fill the rest up with sealant, and then loads of sealant down the outside, so when that goes down, it goes, it washes out.
That sealing,
There's a great big lump out here. I don't know what to do with that.
This
is the slightly
using this.
Yeah, this is some mastic. And worms now.
Finish up sealing the plate there. Sealing the hole, the copper tubing, so there's no water getting down there, please. There we go. One squirts and the other one turns.
Yes.
Sealing right around the hole there. Virgin seal right round the block to sit on. There we go. The first coat. Oh, it's starlight. There we go. Full. Need the bolts to come up from the bottom.
Yeah, that's just me pushing that.
Alright, oh well, you can put it on. I think the thing is here we go. Moment of truth. Squidge it all on. Planking, siding, collars in, bar that holds the rudder indicator in. We need to put this down on it. Are we running out of time for today? Maybe, maybe not. Right, here we go. This is now the final resting place for this for now. And just lacquer those up. That looks really nice, quite pleased with that. So this is the rest of the job here, where we're starting to line it all up, and we've got to come this way. Doing is we're measuring because we need this to be absolutely central.
34.6.
34.6 that side and 34.7
or 8.
right, so we've got another millimetre to find that way. That's squirting all the oil out of the holes, all the old oil by the compressor, and ready for things to start going back. And then we're going to fill up with fresh new oil. So we're getting all the old stuff out of the holes. We're just signing this gasket. It's been quite a project, can I say. Cylinders into the steering. This is quite a moment. The gasket's gone on, which is made by Rosie. Moment of truth. Okay. Look at this. Right, that's not a bad start. Flash onto the gasket that we made. Alright, we're tightening in the countersunk screws down as tight.
Using that. Grease just to stop it catching on the shaft as it goes in. So hopefully, just wedge in. There we go. be the square edge up and the rounded end down into the groove on this.
Great weather.
And that's facing forward.
Yeah, with only a Swedish manual, and we've chronicled this by photos, and it's been very useful that we can go back to make sure that we're putting everything back without an instruction book.
Hopefully work.
So we've got to do a little bit of shoving and moving. That's why we left those bottom ones undone, so we could do the final push.
Right, check the
Although it looks like it,
photos.
we're not sure if we're absolutely flush, but it is so close. But we're going to get it right. Time to put this lot back, these two pistons on the collar. When we took these out, one of these plates was very loose, so we've gone into both, checked underneath and cleaned it up, and then we tightened them up. Just over hand tight. Actually, probably quite a lot over.
Yeah, they need to splay the rubber.
Yeah,
Squeeze the rubber out of it.
absolutely.
See if it actually fits in. Work that out. Heavy. Giving you an easy. Quite as easy as it should fit anywhere on the tiles.
Very satisfying oily bit here. It's working.
Yeah, it's amazing fit on this.
Just a lovely
Such
piece
a
of engineering. We keep marvelling at it.
wonderful piece of engineering.
Look at that. This is the bits of wood they're carving out for the boat. Typical shipwright. Loads of them been. There you go. Out with the old. In with the new.
No difference whatsoever.
This is a vital piece. These ball bearings were nearly disappeared, and we found them. And they.
Right, there's one bearing in that one. That's already down there.
Thank
There's
you.
one I've got there, which is just going to drop in there.
Yeah.
Ready?
Good. Well done.
And then these spring-loaded things sit on top of the bearings, like that.
And then we put them.
And just make sure.
That's on. So how we got it? We were quite interesting to see it so bent, but there's obviously a reason. So yeah, it's all about. Next. Okay, this is the other part of the oil job. These were at the lowest point, and they're going back on. Yeah, right, here we go.
Okay, crowning glory, the big castle nut that sits on the top of this lot.
Finding these logs. Here we go, we're getting down to some meaty part of the boat. There's the bilge tank working like it should do. And we're coming right alongside the boat where they're putting all the large frames in. We're finding that some of them are alright, some of them aren't. You can see all the pins that have gone in. All the work. Right, now comes the bit of putting the steering back together again. But
The valves that control the flow of the oil backwards and forwards.
right. Right, mounting this back onto the steering. Can you manage? Do you need another hand? Bit about lining all up pipes.
You beat yourself against it so much.
Ugh.
Right, just gonna tap.
Moment of truth, steering wheel back on. Wonderful.
Use it as a keyway.
As we put this back on, we have to make sure that the keyway goes in. There you go. It slots in nicely there.
There we go. Put this on for now.
We're not putting the whole thing back together until we just, when we filled her up with oil, we can check all the pipes, all the joins. Rowan's pulling the wheel. Well, if you listen, okay. That shows us that as he's doing the wheel over there, like that,
And that's coming out of.
that's coming out of the tube. So that means
Can
we
you
got
tell which
all
one
air.
that's coming out of?
Come on, then, and again. Yeah, it's the starboard one. Just giving it a wiggle so we can check and see if it's up. Because unfortunately the water's up, so we can move this rather easily. But at the moment, we're not seeing anything.
So hydraulics work and what backlash actually means. So when you steer starboard, for example, the tiller needs to go over that way.
We've started to fill up the pistons and they're flooding down to underneath. And so this whole, before we put any of the plates on, this whole is going to be levelled up all with oil, and then we'll start to put the plates back on. Before we put the big plate on. Let's get some bolts. What a work of art. Tightening all the bolts down. These are the long bolts that go around the outside. Trying to do it as methodically as we can. So the inner ones are countersunk and they go right down to the bottom, and these were 16 shorter ones.
So it looks like it's a sort of flattened coil.
Flattened coil rudder indicator that works here, and then when we look down here, we've got the other bit of the rudder indicator down the bottom. Right, here we go. Steering hydraulics, we're looking at the backlash, and we're also looking at the seal that's bust. And so this is the plates come off. This is the amount of goo, soup containers, and a container. We're going to siphon all that out. Oh, right, there we are. We've put all the bolts back in.